Impeach Trump? Should we not impeach Trump? Before we go down this road, we have to understand what impeachment is and exactly what he might have done. Stay tuned. Hi, my name's Marc Cuniberti. I'm a financial columnist for half a dozen newspapers in our area and also host of Money Matters Radio and MoneyManagementRadio.com that's syndicated on over 65 radio stations throughout the country. Obviously, the topic of impeachment has been raised after Attorney General William Barr released a redacted version of the special counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russian interference, possible Russian interference, in the 2016 election to Congress and to the public. The Constitution gives the House of Representatives the sole power to impeach, and the Senate is the sole court to involve impeachment hearings. The power of impeachment can be limited to the removal of office, but it can also mean that it disqualifies one from holding future office. Fines and even jail times for crimes committed in office are left up to the civil courts after the proceedings. The founders, fearing the abuse of executive power so much, they defined the impeachment process before they defined the contours of the actual presidency. The reasons for impeachment, of course, were treason and bribery, but then they added high crimes and misdemeanors to make it more of a broad definition of what could facilitate an impeachment trial. The House of Representatives brings impeachment charges against federal officials as its oversight and regulatory responsibility. Special committees can be formed to look into specific charges, and then the impeachment is handled by the Judiciary Committee. The committee then, after investigating the charges, reports those charges, if it deems necessary, to the full House of Representatives. If the articles of impeachment are adopted, then the House of Representatives will forward that to the Senate to begin proceedings. I've been through an impeachment before with Bill Clinton, but he remained in office. Now we're coming down that same path with President Donald Trump. So exactly what is Donald Trump accused of doing? As of today, there are 10 offenses that Trump has been accused of, which are impeachable offenses. Let's go through them one by one. 1. Obstructing justice. After taking office, Trump asked FBI Director James Comey to abandon the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election, which the FBI had already connected to Michael Flynn. When Comey refused to alter course, Trump fired him. Trump then admitted the firing was over the Russian thing in a televised interview. In a tweet months later, he stated that he had to fire Michael Flynn because he lied to the FBI, further affirming that he dismissed James Comey in an attempt to quash the FBI's investigation. 2. Profiting from the presidency. The Constitution's Foreign Emoluments Clause prohibits the president from accepting personal benefits from any foreign government or official. Trump has retained his ownership interest in his family business while he's been in office. Thus, every time a foreign official stays at a Trump hotel, or a foreign government approves a new Trump organization project or grants a trademark, Trump is in violation of the Constitution. For example, shortly after he was sworn into president, the Chinese government gave preliminary approval to 38 trademarks of Trump's name. Then in June, China approved 9 adopted Donald Trump trademarks they had previously rejected. Finally, every time he goes to golf at a Trump property, he funnels taxpayer money into the family business, violating the Domestic Emoluments Clause. 3. Collusion. In the middle of the 2016 election, Trump's son was invited to meet with Russian nationals regarding information that would incriminate Hillary Clinton and would be very useful to Donald Trump. The Russian national had ties to high-ranking Kremlin officials. Trump Jr. took the meeting, he said, and I love it, when he told the national that they may have dirt on Clinton. Paul Manafort and Jared Kushner also attended. Federal law prohibits campaigns from soliciting anything of value from a foreign national. After journalists broke this story, Trump personally dictated a public statement on behalf of his son that lied about the intended purpose of the meeting. The relationship between the Trump team and the Russian national raises questions of whether the campaign aided a hostile foreign power's active operation against the United States. 4. Advocating political and police violence. When Trump gave cover to the neo-Nazis who rioted in Charlottesville and murdered a protester, he violated his obligation to protect the citizens against domestic violence. When Trump encouraged police officers to rough up people they may have under arrest, he violated his obligation to oversee faithful execution of the laws. When Trump shared anti-Muslim content on Twitter, he violated his obligation to uphold equal protection of the laws. And finally, it represents a pattern of disregard for some of the president's basic responsibilities as defended by the Constitution. 5. Possible abuse of power. President Donald Trump's decision to pardon Joe Arpaio amounted to an abuse of the pardon power that revealed his indifference to individual rights and equal protections. Joe Arpaio was convicted for contempt of court after ignoring a court order that he stopped detaining and searching people based on the color of their skin, which constitutes a violation of their rights. Pardoning this conviction goes against the Fifth Amendment, which allows the judiciary to issue and enforce injunctions against government officials who flout individual rights. Alleged conduct number 6, engaging in reckless conduct. High-ranking administration officials involved in foreign affairs have signaled that Trump does not have the capacity to make informed decisions in the event of a military crisis. Even worse, his actions could spark a needless confrontation stemming from misunderstanding or miscalculation. We see this in full effect, so goes the allegation, in every time Trump tweets or makes a public statement taunting and threatening the North Korean regime. The president may be the commander-in-chief of the Army and the Navy of the United States, but that does not give him the right to behave in a reckless or wanton ways that put millions of lives at risk. If he is unfit to perform his duties as commander-in-chief, he cannot be allowed to remain in position. Allegation number 7, persecuting political opponents. President Trump has repeatedly pressured the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate and prosecute political adversaries like Hillary Clinton. This is not in concerns with national security, law enforcement, or any other function of his office. It is an attempted power play, plain and simple. There's no question that this constitutes an outrageous and inappropriate abuse of executive branch powers and serves as clear grounds for impeachment. Number 8, attacking the free press. President Trump has repeatedly attacked the concept of an independent press. He's called critical coverage fake news, and journalists the enemy of the American people, made threats to challenge libel laws and revoke licenses, and his battles with CNN led him to try and interfere in the AT&T-Time Warner business merger. This demonstrates his unwillingness to respect and uphold the Constitution and disdain for the crucial foundations to our free society. 9. Violating the immigrants' right to due process. Enforcing its new zero-tolerance policy, the Trump administration separated as many as 3,000 immigrant children from their parents at the southern border. This policy was meant to deter families from attempting to cross the border. The children and their families have been held in internment camps and cages with what lawyers call inhumane conditions. Due to negligence, the Trump administration has no plan to reunite all children with their family, even deporting some parents while their children remain detained. Number 10, violating campaign finance laws. It is alleged that Donald Trump, knowing of the disclosure of his extramarital affairs with Stephanie Clifford's, aka Stormy Daniels, and Karen McDougal, could hurt his chances at winning the 2016 election. At the direction of Trump, it is alleged Michael Cohen and American Media Incorporated, the publisher of the National Enquirer, bought the rights to the women's stories and forced them to sign non-disclosure agreements to prevent them from going public. Cohen admitted to making illegal hush money payments to hide Trump's affairs in the fall of 2016, just weeks before the election. Federal prosecutors and Trump co-conspirators Cohen and AMI all say that Cohen made the payments at Trump's direction, in concert with the campaign and with the intention of helping Trump win. Trump is named as the unindicted co-conspirator because he directed Cohen to cause an unlawful corporation contribution and an excessive campaign contribution by paying the two women hush money with the intent to influence the election. If you would like to read the report yourself, I'll have a link to it at the end of this video. Impeachment is a serious process and a very serious consideration. It's important that the United States and the American people look closely and carefully at all the allegations and then make the right decision. My name's Marc Cuniberti. Subscribe to the channel for other informational videos, and you can visit my website at moneymanagementradio.com, where everything is free. Thanks for watching.